say is mineralization. So the thing that you just mentioned, like you kind of thought, well, I'm taking all these minerals and gosh, I don't need to take my thyroid medicine anymore and I feel better. So regardless of the source, whether it's your pituitary, thyroid, pancreas, adrenal, you know, gonads, just take minerals. Like that's what, right? Because irrespective, take minerals. Okay, so mineralization is one. Getting your yeast under control is another. Detox because of all these things. And hydration, xeno things. Those are the things that you do. So that's kind of the treatment plan that is in your book. So let's talk about a little bit those. We have about 12 more minutes. So tell us about first the mineralization. And I read through, like, there's minerals and herbs, of which there are like almost 25 that are possible. There's a lot. I may have counted wrong, but there's a lot. So what should I just take a multivitamin, or like what's in my, if I want to do mineralization and get the right herbs and I'm 50 and all these other things, what is there 1-2 pills that I can take? First of all, I know getting my diet in control and detoxing, but if I were to take, since we're on minerals, what would I take? I would take Remite.
Right, the Remite, but I even back up from there and talk about water intake.
Okay.
You have to have enough water. Yes, here we go. Enough water to get into the cells and hydrate the cells, and then pull in the minerals. And then the minerals in the cells pulls in more water. And they do their job by having enough or a balance of the two, the water and the minerals. And even just with the water, I start with sea salt in water. Sea salt or Himalayan salt. And some people say, oh, Himalayan salt, that's a rock, and it's in a mountain, it's not good because it's a... The mountain was at the bottom of the ocean to pick up that salt originally. So, you know, stop it.
Just take the Himalayan salt in your water. How much would you put? Like a teaspoon, or what would you do?
Excuse me, I have to drink my salted water. I'm choking with the excitement. So you take half your body weight in pounds.
Okay.
So 100 pounds, half of that is 50 ounces a day. In each quart of water, that's, 32 ounces, you put a quarter to a half a teaspoon of sea salt or Himalayan salt.
Okay.
And you will seriously learn to love the taste and think that plain water is just boring afterwards. And it really gets you drinking water. And I can't tell you how many people, I have a weekly radio show.
Right.
And people just want to, I can't believe it. I resisted drinking the water for so long, but once I started drinking it and drinking it with the sea salt, I feel so much better. I recover faster when I exercise. I don't get up at night to urinate because the water follows the sea salt and your other minerals and stays in the cells and does its thing. Does its metabolism, breaks down. The H2O breaks down, and the air is excreted. You breathe out. So the amount of H2O that goes in is not the same amount that comes out because it's being used in metabolism.
Oh, interesting. Okay, so water hydration is one, and the mineralization. So what should I be taking in terms of minerals?
Well, then, to make it easy on people, I tried a 2-year wellness program to lay out all the lifestyle. Right. Nobody wants to do that.
Right.
Wanted me, give me what to take. Okay. So I take the Remag. Remag is 100% absorbed at the cellular level. See, with my heart palpitations and terrible leg cramps and my mild IBS, irritable bowel syndrome, any pill or powder I took of magnesium caused the laxative effect.
Right.
So I was after mineral companies for 10 years to make a magnesium that had no laxative effect. Nobody was interested because it was like they wanted to be able to, anyway, they weren't interested.
Right.
So I created Remag. What it is when you have this Remag, it's a magnesium chloride. but it's broken down and the ions of magnesium are stabilized so that when this mineral is in your body, those ions are on their own and they go right into the cell. Otherwise, a magnesium chloride mineral would have to poke at the cell and hope to break down at the right time when the cell could absorb it. So that means the absorption of most minerals is very low.
Oh, I see. Okay. Interesting.
We know that magnesium oxide, for example, is only absorbed 4% into the bloodstream. We do not even have measures for what's going on into the cells.
Okay, got it. So the reason why you've just had to make your own, which is Remite, which we can find on your website, drcarolyndean.com. Okay, that's the mineralization part. So you said hydration, mineralization, and those two are tied together because if you actually aren't drinking water, then that's not helpful. Then there's getting your yeast down and then detoxing. What are those?
Right. Well, after the Remite, it was a Remite with the 12 minerals.
Excuse
so
me,
we covered
Remite.
that with the thyroid.
Right.
And with the yeast, you know what happens actually with people who have yeast? They start their Remag and Remite. Those minerals, by getting into the cells, act as detoxifiers. They help dump toxins because it's like, I don't want this heavy metal in here, so they can get rid of lead and mercury from the cells. And chemicals and toxins, because a certain percentage of people, mostly women, they'll develop rashes and vaginitis when they take their minerals and they get dehydrated because the yeast is detoxing. These chemicals are detoxing. And then, you know, most people who listen to me, they're already avoiding sugar, avoiding gluten, avoiding dairy, because sugar and dairy are sugars that feed yeast. And it used to be I just told people to avoid wheat, but now I say, gluten. It's gotten so crazy with the gluten. The way the wheat has been hybridized and all the rest of it, I just say you might as well just avoid gluten. So these flours, they break down very readily into glucose molecules. The starch breaks down into sugars. Just eat a piece of bread. Keep a piece of bread in your mouth for a minute or so. It turns sweet because it's breaking down into sugar. So you're trying not to feed the yeast, and then that's what you avoid: sugar, gluten, and dairy. You eat garlic. A lot of people talk about the fermented foods. I think that you should try them. Some people say, well, doesn't fermentation grow yeast? Well, maybe not. You have to try it yourself. Personally, if I eat a quarter cup of sauerkraut, it's game over. Too much gas and bloating. Oh my gosh.
Right.
But if I eat a tablespoon or even 2 a day in my salad, it's just fine.
Interesting.
So, it can be just the amount as well.
Okay, so detoxing is no gluten, no gluten, no dairy, no sugar.
Yeah.
That's what the detoxing part of it, and then also try some of the yeast, like those drinks that they have, those whatever drinks, and then sauerkraut, fermented kind of pickles. Are those fermented things?
Yeah, pickles are fermented as well. They can be helpful. Kefir is good.
Yeah.
Unsweetened kefir.
Yep, I've been.
And you can find
check.
Yeah, you can find lists of these foods, and the detoxing is happening just by drinking water too, CJ.
Right, and the minerals, like you said. If I were to do. Okay, so then it's really just about diet. If I were to do a couple of things, like the first line of attack is not like just go take a, rub creams all over myself and melt all over Hawaii. Or
my legs.
Yes, exactly. Or taking a pill. It's basically the first line of order is like drink water, take minerals, and then basically try to avoid as much as you can sugar, flour, sugar, gluten, and dairy. Yes.
Non-fermented dairy.
Non-fermented.
actually, I don't know if you came across this. What I also did in my protocols, I created a product for detoxification. It's 2 sulfur-based amino acids. One of them, methionine, is a precursor to glutathione. Glutathione is the most important antioxidant detoxifier in the body. Oh, the herbs.
Yeah.
Actually, that passed my mind when you said herbs, and my answer to herbs now is we don't know the soil they're grown on, whether they have the minerals in the soil for the herbs. The reason herbs work is because they have minerals and chemicals in them that are therapeutic. But the way herbs are now commercialized, they're grown on soil, the same as food, so that the soil is deficient.
So like things like you had for things to try for menopause, or like fenugreek, motherwort, sage, are you saying don't try those because the ground is not mineralized, or try it and like, who knows, if it works, it works, if it doesn't, whatever?
Yeah, well, still try it. I just don't focus on that being the first thing, because my whole MO now is to make it simple.
Right.
So if they can simply do the water and seasalt,
right,
and start to feel better. Oh, okay, maybe I'll try the next thing. So then they do the next thing, and each step of the way they do feel the difference, and that grabs them into the even just the thought of doing other lifestyle things.
Okay, but that wouldn't, like, minerals and herbs would not be your first line, of course. The first line is, like, get your minerals, or minerals and water are your first, like, line of defense. Second line of defense is diet, or maybe they're neck and neck. And then is that when you think about, like, the herbs? Like, where would you stack rank those things in terms?
Well, with the diet, that does come second, because with the hydration and the minerals, people feel better and they have enough energy to tackle a diet. And then with my clients, for example, I'll give them a list of the antifungal foods. And so I go there, and I'm not doing that much herbs anymore, actually. I get kind of turned off to them, because unless they're organic, unless they've remineralized their soil, I can't guarantee that they're going to help a person.
Well, and also if you're finding that with those 3 steps alone, they're basically getting better, why would you need to take them? Like, you don't need to take them, right? So if you find with the first, you know, the mineralization of water, diet, and then the right? Those are the 2 things. If those things are working, then just you're done. Like, why would you need to take the herbs? But I guess if you're still like, oh, I'm still getting hot flashes, or I'm still whatever, then experiment with these things and see what happens.
Exactly. It's like a stepwise approach. You know, a lot of people will go to the alternative medicine doctors now and end up on a dozen things.
It means so much to me that you're listening to the show, and would love your support in any way by giving me comments below, or to subscribe to the show, or share the show with friends. Thank you again for your support. Love and blessings.